Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Magic Makers, our July edition, if you will. My name is Jenny Hawkyard. I am an intuitive artist and designer. I'm based in West Wales. And I started the Magic Makers podcast, if I'm calling it that, as a way to kind of introduce people to or share people that I've met in my journeys through the interwebs. I work with people all over the world on things like oracle decks and book covers and intuitive art. And the amount of times I have discovered or been introduced to some kind of incredible healing modality or intuitive or coach in Sheila's case. Um, and I've got to experience their work. And I just kind of go, this needs to be shared. Like this, people need to discover this stuff. And I think it's a wonderful part of the internet is that we can share these things and it can propagate. So we are talking to Sheila today of Sheila Williams Coaching, and she's here to talk to us all about what she offers to the world. So Sheila, I'll let you do your little intro.
Thanks, Jenny. Great to be here. So wonderful to see everyone here live as well. I'm sure many people will be watching on the recording. Again, she said part of what's amazing about the internet is it creates access for us to dip into things, and we usually find things at the time that's right for us. So my name is Sheila Williams. What can I tell you about myself? I'm Canadian, and I am a midlife mindset coach. That's the term I've landed on. I love to work with people who are in around the same stage of life that I am, kind of that 45 to 60, 65 realm, because so many of us built our lives very specifically according to the plan we were told. If you follow this plan and you check these boxes, you will be successful and happy. And then you can work, and then you can retire, and then have some fun. And that was kind of the blueprint that I think a lot of us in my age bracket followed. And it was given to us honestly with the best of intentions. But now that we are where we are and the world is where it is, I think many people are checking in and finding out that they don't actually feel happy or fulfilled, and they have more questions than ever before. And so they start to have a lot of insecurity, maybe just the confidence that you did everything right doesn't feel quite as good as it used to. And so I work with people, men and women, although I often put a very specific invitation out to work with men, because I think now is the time for us to get some clarity and rebuild that confidence and understand that just because our life doesn't feel the way we thought it was going to, it doesn't mean that it all has to get thrown away. Or I'll often say, like, we don't need to burn it down and start again, because what we want is actually within us now. And even if we try to change all the outside conditions, if we haven't done any of that work for ourselves, we're just going to bring ourselves to that new place. And it's probably going to be a repeat in terms of how it feels. So, working with people and allowing them to access tools that maybe they don't know about or they've forgotten about really lets it feel easier to find the life that they're looking for. And I'll often call it a magical life. That I'll always say, in fact, I just said 5 minutes ago to you at the beginning, like, I lead a magical life. I have created this magical life. And it's not because I've made the changes I have, although I have made a lot of changes, but it's because I allowed myself to find out what I do want and given myself that permission to feel better. And then the changes just seem to roll in that are the match for where you're at. So that wasn't really much of an introduction, but I do think it encapsulates a lot about what I am and who I am and what I do. And so I love connection. I love working with people and creating a space for them that lets them feel some of that magic for themselves, and then just see what's possible. But I'm all about the questions. And most of us at this stage, we kind of forgot to ask new questions. And that's, I think, exactly where we all need to be.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, you touched on so many points that are things to unpack, right? And having been someone who went through I suppose, what would be the midlife crisis idea, where you're talking about that moment where you go, oh my gosh, I did all the things. And is this what life is? I did that when I was 25. I always do things really early. Um, but I remember that feeling very profoundly of, I did the college thing, I graduated, I got a job, I was successful in my career, and then I went, wait, is this all there is? You know? And it's a real like sinking blur feeling, right? When you kind of go, hang on a minute, I'm not happy, I'm not feeling the magic, even though I'm doing everything society tells me to do. Um, Although, it does it's funny how that society has those things like that we should do, and then it also has the thing that we all call the midlife crisis. So it's like, oh, well, then that's the next thing. So what?
Well,
Um,
I'll often joke that, so few people live to midlife that it just wasn't an issue. But here we are now with our medical care and our lifestyles and better nutrition, and we are getting there. And we're fortunate enough to say that, the 40s are midlife. We expect and want to get to 80 and beyond. And that really does open new doors that perhaps weren't part of our history. Um, I just hosted a workshop last week called Now What? Because that's often what happens is, all right, here we are, and now what? And when you don't know where to look, you don't know where to focus, it feels very daunting. It can feel very overwhelming, not knowing where to start, and it feels so big. And what I love to do is encourage people to, first of all, take a few deep breaths, know that it doesn't all have to be done today, and also to know that the small changes are going to make the biggest impact in your life. And so we don't need to worry right now about taking the giant step and worrying about if it's the right decision. Looking at what's one small step, what's the next thing, what's the thing that I could do in the next 5 minutes that might feel better for me, and let that be the path so that we're taking from that step to the next one. And then those bigger ones, they'll come, but you're going to feel readier for them. And it's not going to feel as if you have to jump across, a canyon. You're really taking one step at a time.
hmm hmm Yeah, it's I think I used to call it taking the next meaningful step, right?
Yeah.
Or the breadcrumb
Yeah.
trail, or finding the next puzzle piece, and not focusing so much on the big picture. Um, it makes a huge, huge difference. So how did you, if you're willing to share, how did you end up where you are now, doing coaching? Have you always done this sort of work, or something else happened?
I used to be a school teacher, and then I took time off to raise my three children. And when two of them were already kind of adults out of the house, and I had one at 16, I ended up having one of those life shifts that we talk about. I was in a long-term relationship that ended quite suddenly, and it left me with that exactly what we just talked about, that now what feeling, and feeling very overwhelmed and not sure how, where I was supposed to look and do, and who was I at this point. And so having those questions all flood in. Of course, when we ask questions, we do tend to get some answers. And that led me on the path to understanding more about how our thoughts create our actual experiences, our what we think about. We get what we think about, whether we want it or not, became a phrase that became very meaningful for me, because I did realize that I was thinking about all the things I didn't want and all the things that I was worried about. And it helped me understand, in a way that I had never understood before, how much power I actually had to create the experience that I was having, and to make those shifts so that I was creating an experience that I actually wanted to have.
Mm.
And it's never as simple as it sounds. Of course, that just saying those few sentences denotes about 6 months to a year of finding myself in a lot of turmoil, and like, it's all happening again, and why is it happening again? And then remembering, no, no, it's okay. Turn your focus to something that does feel better. I listened to a lot of Abraham Hicks recordings. I ended up finding communities with, Sarah Landon, and finding tribes of people who were on that same path of knowing that it is okay to ask questions and it is okay to stop doing and practice being, just being who you are, and dropping into your heart and all those wonderful spiritual type aspects. Now, I tend to work with clients that don't know much about that, and it doesn't matter because it's the tools that I use for myself that help me find my steadiness, and then I can meet them wherever they're at. And of course, some of them are there, and so we'll have that common language. But it's nice to know that it doesn't really matter what tools you use as long as they're the right ones for you. And so to get on this path, it did flow very naturally. It became easy. And I love that it did happen the way it did because I started coaching about 6 years after I discovered that I could create my own life. And it had been a really fun journey up to that point. And again, I learned a specific modality that I'd found really useful. And that is what started the idea of like, I wonder if I could use this with other people. And it just happened that the person was decided to teach it, and it just kept unfolding. And so it's been a really fun path, to be honest.
Mm. Was that the modality that I don't know whether you remember working with me? We had a session.
Mhm.
Was that the modality?
Absolutely, yes.
Uh,
Yeah,
do you still,
yeah.
you still use that now, do you?
I do with certain clients, yes. Gina Mallison, and she has called it the Mallison Method, and it's derived from NLP practices where you are letting yourself get out of the story, which is very often tied to a lot of strong emotions, and shifting it within yourself and finding a better feeling place. And then looking back at that story and realizing how different it feels. And it can happen in a very short time period, which, if I recall, you experienced for yourself. And it's just shocking sometimes of how effective it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what we were tackling. It might have been my wrist.
That's right.
It was my wrist. Okay. It's
Yeah.
better now.
It worked.
It worked. That and going to the gym. That was a big one.
So many different factors. And that's it. It doesn't have to be one thing, but even if in that session you allowed there to be a moment of knowing that it could feel better, can unlock the path to something else that helps it and something else that helps it. Just like we talked about, it's the breadcrumbs.
Yeah. Yeah, and that I suppose it's the softening of the mind, which can get very hard.
Yes.
Especially if you're told by certainly healthcare professionals that are like,
Yeah.
this is never going to get better, um, and you have to completely stop what you're doing, the thing that you love. Like that's a very hard thing to
Yeah.
deal with and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I love the that practice of and it's like a storytelling technique, isn't it, in a way that it just helps you kind of tackle it in a different way. So thank you for sharing about that. Um,
Yeah.
I also want to add, we will have a Q&A session at the end, but if you want to add your questions into the chat, please feel free. I will keep an eye on it, and if I can weave it in to our chat, I will. But yeah, as I say, we'll have a Q&A if we have time at the end as well. Um, so you mentioned certainly in your website and whatnot, you sort of got that focus on men,
Yeah.
midlife mindset, and all that kind of stuff. Um, do you want to share a bit more about that? Because I'm interested to hear about that.
It's funny in some ways. It works in my favor that is a bit different, and yet it's fascinating to me. It came about for multiple reasons and almost in the backwards order, which again, with perspective, it is always funny to look back and to see how it's worked out. Um, Part of it was I was attending quite a few networking calls, and predominantly the calls were women who all stated in their introduction and their pitch that they worked with women.
Mm.
And I thought, well, that's strange. Like who's working with the men? Not these group, very specifically not these people. And then when I redid my website in December, I was working with a copywriter who sent me all kinds of questionnaires to help formulate what my messaging would be. And so she could get to know me and my programs better. And one of the questions was, you know, tell about your three favorite coaching moments. Tell about your three favorite coaching clients. Talk about this and talk about that. And when was the most transformation? What felt the most fulfilling? And the thread that was very obvious through all of that was that it was all related to my male clients. And that became really obvious of why would I not purposely be inviting more men to come into my practice? Um, and I love working with women. There's no question. Some of my favorite clients are on this call today. And so it's not a one or the other, but it really did fascinate me that so few women are inviting men in. So many men in this age group fit the parameters of who I'm speaking to, of not knowing what to do, and also knowing that they're good guys, but they're not happy. And they also feel too much guilt to leave all of their responsibilities, and they get to a breaking point of when things really do blow up. And wouldn't it be nice to have someone who I think is a very calming and safe person to invite them in and let them find ease before their life has to crumble around them? And all that is still true, but it's been fun to really focus on my own story more and understand that that was actually what I lived. My husband, I have three children, as I said, and their father was basically that person. And yet that wasn't fully clear to me when I decided to do this. But I can see now that as I do work and do, posts on LinkedIn or whatever about who it is that I want to work with, it's become more and more clear that it was him. And I love that idea that I have experienced it for myself. And, but I went to the other side where he left and the kids were small and he didn't know what else to do. So we're 20 years beyond that now, almost 25 years beyond that. And so I don't have that old emotion that I used to have, of course. Not that, I mean, we always had very amicable, but of course, that's never the thing that you want to happen. Um, and yet I love the idea that perhaps I could help someone find the shifts that he needs before it comes to that. So I don't want to be a savior. I know it's not my job. And yet I love the fact that I do have the perspective, which means I think I can bring even um, more fullness to the conversation.
Mm. I love that because there's so much. Obviously, there's a big, another big feminist rising at the moment, which, absolutely needs to happen. And I'd be the first to, be throwing my bra away. But what always gets me about the narrative that we hear in the collective consciousness is, even in regards to war and the things that are happening right now, you'll hear so many women and children died. You don't hear
Mhm.
about the men. It's almost
Yeah.
like they're just allowed to be gun fodder, right? And that pervades. It's happening in all areas of society. It's not just in that level. From my just observation as someone who's looked at the world, um, I've even seen it in my field of work as well, where before I started doing Oracle decks, I was consuming the one and only digital art magazine that is available to digital artists. And the narrative in there is you feature buxom babes with scantily clad or no clothes, and you feature men carrying weapons of war. And I found myself going, well, where's the emotional man? Where's the empathic man? Where's the sensitive man? And that was the thing that started me drawing angels, because that's where I felt like I could bring that energy in to be something more and something deeper. Um, so I feel like it's such a powerful thing to be saying, like, hey, we see you and we happily help in whatever way we can, right? um yeah, it needs to happen desperately. at the moment.
It does. And it's nice for them to know that there are options. And of course, I'm looking out more and because I asked the question, who is there to help them? And there are some people, and they're not all the bro coaches. There are some of the sensitive men offering to hold that space, which I do think is wonderful. And I think there can be more of us. And I would like to join that. And to allow it to be easier and to know that nothing has gone wrong, because obviously admitting failure is not something that anybody really likes to do, and to understand that nothing this is the opposite of failure. In fact, asking for help is the sign of courage, and you're setting yourself up for success. And I often talk about how I would love for it to be as common to get a mindset coach as to get a nutrition coach or a fitness coach. uh, there isn't, I don't believe there has to be any difference at all. You know, you have a goal, you would like the support of someone to offer you new habits and tools and mindset shifts around it, even if it's about fitness or health. Those are still taking mindset shifts, and this is just framing it a little bit differently, but it can be no big deal. And yet, right now, I don't believe we're there.
Yeah. And it should be, in my opinion, it should be the top of the pyramid, right? Because everything starts with your thoughts and your how you react to what is happening in your life. And from there, your emotions come out and your actions start. So if you have tools to help you even just take a pause when something happens that's really like, oh my gosh, stressful or really exciting, to go, okay, one of Sarah Landon's phrases is, "What am I giving my power away to?" And that was such a powerful one for me to go, whoa, like that is massive how much power we give away to you name it.
Well, and that's it, because you're putting it out there, out there, out there. And the first place to start is to bring it back, and whether that's your focus, your attention, your energy, your whether you want to call it the power, it is coming right back to your heart space and understand, where am I at? What do I want? And then move to the next thing. And I'll often use kind of a circle as an illustration when I talk to people. Is like, we need to make that circle as small as possible so that it's just you in there, like you and your version of your source, your soul, your God, whatever it is. Let's leave everybody else out of it for right now. Touch base with you, and then we can increase it just that little bit to bring in that circle of the people who need to be in there. And usually family is the next, and then we can get a little bit bigger, and people at work and the world. And obviously, we don't want to always be in a little bubble. We want to be in the world. But when we put everything out to the world without knowing where we are, we're all over the place. It's just a hot mess.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. So Denise asked, circling back to a point that you were a bit earlier, but it's relevant to where we're at now, is when you're at that breaking point of going, what now? Like I'm about to leave my family or whatever. That seems to be the only way out. What's a first step or next step that could start to ease the momentum of the breaking point?
Well, it is a great question. And my answer always is going to be 3 deep breaths. I think that is a magical tool. And I did really learn that from Sarah Landon. I mean, we know about take a few deep breaths, but the way that she used to explain it so specifically, of the first breath is okay, but nothing's really changed. The second one, your shoulders may drop a little bit, and your breathing will slow a little bit. And then that third one, I think, is magical, because it is indicating to your body that we do not need to be in panic mode, not flight or fight. We are okay, we are safe. And that is going to start to create an environment where thought can be a little more calm and steady. Because again, we're oxygenating our body, we're allowing everything to work at its peak capacity, not in our absolute panic mode. because when we are when we are acting in that panic mode consistently, I have lived there. It's exhausting. And you never really are, you're never sleeping as well as you could. You're always trying to think 18 steps ahead so that you can feel prepared because you're worried things are going to go wrong. And it becomes this hamster wheel effect. And so allowing ourselves to notice it's okay to pause and take those breaths. The world is not going to be falling apart if you breathe for a minute.
Mm.
And that is a great place to be. The next obvious one would be to find yourself a really good mindset coach, and my website will be in the chat. No. Um, no, it is to check in with yourself and ask, what do I want? Like, how am I feeling about this? Because you probably aren't taking any time to ask. You're probably thinking about what everybody needs from you. Or if you are thinking about how you're feeling, it's you're thinking that you are angry or resentful or frustrated. And when you have that awareness, then the next question is, how would I rather feel? And if that feels like a really big jump or you don't even know, then that really is the time, I think, to find something, whether that's a mindset coach or a book or a tool like a meditation or a therapy group, whatever it is. It's important to understand that to check in with yourself about what you want, it really does matter. And I'll use all kinds of analogies in my sessions about, put the oxygen mask on first and fill your energy bucket. Because and in fact, I will take the time to say, I was working with a client, and he's a wonderful person. He's a good husband and father, and he wants to give so much and be of service and be the best he can be for his family. And he really didn't hear when he was talking about what he was doing, but how he was feeling frustrated about it. He really didn't hear it until I said it back. Wouldn't it be better to take those breaths and tune into how you want to feel so that you can bring the best version of yourself to that conversation with your child or with your wife? Because right now they're not getting the best of you. They're getting the frustrated, resentful, very angry version. And it was beautiful because he heard it so differently. Because for him before, it felt selfish.
Mm.
Like I can't take that time for me because all these other things need to happen for them. It's like, no, it has to be the opposite. You have to give yourself, even if it's 5 minutes before you get home from work, to sit in the car and come to that place of how do I want to be with my family? Because otherwise you're not doing what is most important to you.
Mhm.
And that is meaningful for me, that I can allow that realization to be available for someone.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's again, it's tapping into that narrative, isn't it? That the narrative for men is you're the provider, you're the breadwinner. There's nothing else about whether you're happy in that job, you know? So yeah, gosh, it's so important, isn't it? To take a breath, literally. So in your website as well, you talk about tapping into your intuition to find that magic again in your life. I mean, obviously, I would imagine in these coaching periods that you go through, it's definitely not a one-hit wonder. It's a let's get you out of fight or flight mode first, which takes however long it takes, to then now you've got some headspace,
Yeah.
right? To actually allow, as you say, what do I want now? Like I would have thought, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of the time the body's going, I really want whatever, food, water, a massage. Because the body can yell really loudly when it's not being, can only handle so much stress. Um, so where was I going with that? Can you elaborate on how you can bring more magic and intuition into your world when we are living in a world that's pretty much designed to cause burnout?
Mhm. It is interesting, isn't it? And I do think it's evolved naturally, especially in the first world of, the wars, the depression, you know, the generation now was raised by the generation that came right after that. And so it makes sense that it mattered to have that plan and take the action. But the way that the world works right now, it's like we can't ever turn it off. Even just by having cell phones with us, we're always in contact. There's no downtime. And so I think rather than pushing against it and say something's bad and judging it, we can just say, okay, it is what it is. Um, what tools can I use to better serve my needs? And that's again where we have to ask those questions of what do I want? How do I want to feel to know what those needs are? And then how can I find that for myself and then bring that to everyone around us, as we just talked about. So I've actually created a framework. I call it the CREATE framework, and it's a series of steps. And I like it because it's very practical in terms of it's is linear. I'm a very linear thinker, and I like to go step by step. But I think it ties directly to your question because it's letting us use something practical to give our brain some pathways that will let us get back in touch with our intuition. Because one of the very first steps is to have a little bit of distance from whatever it is that we're in, that story that feels so black and white and so true. Any distance that we can get at all. And the process that I use that you used about your wrist with me, that's a great tool for doing that because it lets you separate and become a bit more of an observer to the situation. And just having that space alone has made a shift. And then within that, we get to be really curious and we get to ask questions like, what else is possible? A really great question that I've been asking lately with people is this even true? I
Mm.
use it with myself all the time. It's like, there's this and there's that and there's that, and this never happens. And then I stop and go, whoa, wait a second. Is that actually true? Like, is that true? Or is that just a story that I keep telling myself? Because even as
Oh,
I'm saying it, I can kind of feel that it's not true. And so giving ourselves some space to be that observer and then to be really curious and ask questions about what else is possible, that is giving ourselves the tools to reach for something different. Because as soon as we know that something else is possible, we can ask new questions. And we don't need all the answers to those questions, but just asking the questions lets the answers start to find us. And as you get more and more practiced by using this methodology, number one, you feel more confident because you know you have a tool, and you get more and more practiced at doing it faster so that it feels very natural. It is letting you understand that when you quiet that outside noise, the messages that you are hearing from yourself really is from your intuition. And we know I used to second guess myself all the time, and I'd hem and haw and wait, should I this and should I that? And I was never sure what to do. But now I realize that's my intuition saying, this isn't the time to take an act. These aren't the right choices. And before I would push through it because that's what I was supposed to do. And now I understand it's okay to take a break,
mm,
even if it's just to go get a glass of water and come back, if it feels like a time sensitive action that needs to be taken. It's so important to understand we can listen to that inner knowing that's there. And we can follow it. And I do recommend to start with topics that don't feel really big. What to eat,
mm.
what to drink. Like, let yourself ask, like, what do I want? And when people are new with me, I'll often say, throughout your day, practice making choices. Pick two different drinks, pick two different options for your lunch, pick two different socks that you have to decide, because remind yourself that you have the power to choose. Because that continual looping thought that many people that I work with have is, I don't get to choose. I never get to do what I want. It's always about other people, and it's never about me. And I'm always just doing what I have to do. Well, no, that is a choice, but it doesn't feel like a choice. So let's have you tune back into what it feels like to choose and then start to realize that you're doing it all the time. But by strengthening that muscle and knowing that you're choosing, that flips everything.
Mm.
Because if you think, the common example too can be, oh, look at all the meetings I have to go to today. Like, oh, I'm so busy and I'm going to be so busy today and it's going to be a terrible day. Well, do you? Do you have to go to all those meetings? Like, what if some of those could move? And you can ask, I've done this before for myself. I look at every single meeting. I say, could this move? Could this be done in a different way? Could I be allowing something different? And sometimes people will cancel meetings on those types of days. And I think, oh, well, that worked out really well. And other ones, if it really does feel as if they have to be there, I say, I choose to attend that meeting. I want the information that that person is offering me. I want the result that's going to happen. I have an intention for that meeting, and I am so lucky that I get to attend that meeting. It's always going to be about our perception. And when we feel like we're in our power to choose, it really does shift, even if the end result looks the same. You had to go to a bunch of meetings. Yes, but I decided that I get to go to those meetings. And that is different.
Oh yeah, it's so true. It's that it's empowering, I think, when you discover that little life hack. And for
Yes.
me, I mean, I'm sure other people are similar. I can hit a level of overwhelm, and it's almost like I feel like I have to blow everything away because everything is overwhelming. But actually, sometimes if I take the time to just step back a bit with 3 deep breaths and kind of look at each thing and go, well, which is the thing? If I just turn that one off, I go, oh my God, I feel so much better. It was that one. But I was
Yeah.
thinking it was, unable to cope with all of it, right? And that's burnout, I suppose, when these things start to build up and it all becomes unmanageable. Um, One of my favorites is, having days where you go, oh my gosh, I've got so much to do today. How am I going to get it all done? And the narrative I used to run in my old corporate career was literally thinking of the worst things that could happen so that
Yeah.
I could deal with them, be mentally able to deal with them. And of course, I would go start my day feeling horrendous.
Yeah.
And now, after however many years it's been since I've not, I've been on this different path, if I start to find my brain is going that way and going, oh my gosh, how am I going to do it all? Um, I'll go, I'm the master of my own timeline, and I will get everything done that I need to get done. And I'll actually have more time. It'll just happen so fast that I'll find myself getting to the end of the day and going, oh, that was good. That was done quicker than I thought. That was easier, and it works every single time. It's amazing how your brain can create that like massive mountain.
It really does. And that's, I think, again, reminding yourself how powerful your brain is and how it can shift it. And it's fun to play with. I like to encourage people to play too. Like we take things so seriously, and obviously there are some parts of life that do feel serious. I'm not going to argue that they aren't, but everything isn't. It isn't all the most serious thing in the world. It's not all life or death. Some things really could wait or be questioned. If I work with people and they talk about their kids, like, well, they wouldn't eat their food and we had the big fight. Like, did they need to eat that salad? Like, did they? Like, was that really the hill to die on for you? Because kids are going to eat eventually exactly what they need. And so wouldn't it be fun to be a bit lighter about it and to know that this might be a non-negotiable, but absolutely, if you want something different to eat, go make it. That doesn't feel obvious to some people, and it's okay if it doesn't work for others, but just to ask those questions of, could this just be okay the way it is?
Mm. And do you find, I mean, that's a perfect segue to another question from Denai, which is that hill to die on. Like, do you find um, that you get either with yourself or with your clients a really resistant or resentful part? Because it's like, I've died on this hill before and I'll die on it again. You really want to change it, but you're almost resistant to it, I suppose, because you've been sold the lie, right? Like I was sold the lie that my wrist was done and that was that. Um, do you have a recommendation for sort of managing that, working with that resentful resistance?
Well, I had a great conversation this morning with someone, and I think it's what we talked about is really relevant because it's nice to acknowledge that any of those parts within us that are resistant are usually, again, part of our programming that is trying to keep us safe. It's that voice in your head that says, look both ways before you cross the street. Are you sure you really want to get on that motorcycle? And should you be staying up this late? And whatever it is, like, should you be spending that money? And that part is there for our benefit. However, it doesn't have to be the number one influence in our life. And so, what I like to do always is acknowledge, thank you. Thank you for offering that. And yet, here's something else that I think is available for me. Like, here are the advantages that I think are going to happen. And here's why I think it would be fun. And it's okay. I'm going to take the safety precautions or whatever it might be. We don't have to squash it down or push it away, but to acknowledge and say thank you. Thank you so much for reminding me. It's I always try to picture it for myself like my mother reminding me to take my mitts because it's cold outside. It's like thank you. Thank you so much for reminding me. I'll make sure that I've got that taken care of. Like whether I have the mitts or not is really it's not in her control and it's none of her business. But I know that it comes from love and care and wanting me to be safe.
Mhm.
And so to acknowledge that that part of us it's resistant because I don't think it's keeping you stuck. I think it's your attention to it that is what's keeping you stuck. And allowing yourself to bring it in as one voice, but to know that there are so many other voices. There's a part of you that's really excited about whatever it is. And there's a part of you that can't wait to see what happens. And there's that other part that's already beyond the experience and knows that it worked out well, but it really isn't that big of a deal. Like we have all of those perspectives available to us. But when we only focus on that one that's pointing out the worrisome issue, that doesn't serve us. And so it is our choice, though, of where are we directing our attention and our focus.
Mhm. I love that. I was reminded of the Pixar movie Inside Out and the different emotions, right? That
Yes.
we give our personality over to as we get older, and um, yeah, I I regularly in my head turn into the rage guy, and maybe the sad little person too. Um,
I
it's
love that. I'll often talk about that movie in sessions because I think they did such a great job of putting a picture to it. And sometimes we're having the experiences, and it's chaos. It's everyone just smashing buttons, going, no, it's this, no, but I'm worried, no, but I'm sad, but wait, this is fun. It's like that gets to be a bit overwhelming, but it sometimes feels true. But it's a matter of which one are we allowing? Like, okay, everyone else, just go sit down for a moment. We're going to pick one to be our dominant emotion right now. And we get to choose where to focus so that the dominant one is closer to what we want to be feeling. And it just has to be a little bit better. It doesn't always have to be happy, happy, joy, joy. But if we're really angry, maybe frustrated is a step up, or impatient might be a little step up. Like we're allowed to give ourselves just that little bit of movement to know that we're on the way to feeling better. That's all
Mhm.
that really matters.
Yeah, and I think I mean, do you find you come across people with adrenal fatigue? Because this is what this all builds up to, right? And perhaps more so women than men because we have to shove a lot of stuff down all the time and we deal with the roller coaster of hormones for a lot. But adrenal fatigue, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it's getting more and more pronounced in this world because we don't have that time out anymore. We're constantly on a hair trigger.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And that's where it's more important than ever before that people access the tools that feel better for them because there has to be something, whether we want to call it just a bit of relief or some respite, to always having that feeling. We've got to bring it down because our body never feels as if it can relax or be safe, which is another reason why people have so many issues with sleeping, is they're never in that space where they feel safe enough to let everything just turn off. So whether it's supplements, medical care, I mean, I do love to meditate. I know a lot of people don't, but finding something. There are techniques like emotional freedom technique and tapping and hypnosis, and there's so many ways to tap in for that place that feels safe for you to just let it be okay, even if just for now. Yoga obviously has gotten really popular. And I think that, I mean, actually, I started doing yoga when I was going through that time in 2016. And it was amazing to me that I was giving myself an hour to be in this sedate, calm space and just be with my body and my breath. That was very unfamiliar for me, and I did love it. Once I got used to the idea of it, like this is okay that I'm here, and it is all right just to be here, focusing on my breath and my balance and relaxing it all a little bit because up until that point, it was exactly as you described of trying to hold everything all together, telling myself, no, it's fine. Everything's fine. That became my catchphrase. How are you? Fine. Everything's just fine. And then, now I say, no, it wasn't fine. Nothing was fine. But I didn't know how to ask for help or what I would have even said. Like,
Yeah.
so.
But again, that's the narrative, isn't it? We don't, in a Western culture, we say, "Hi, how are you? Fine." Yeah,
Yep.
we don't actually say, "Well, actually, my world is falling apart." Because they didn't want to hear that most of the time.
Exactly.
It's just being pleasant. I always remember when I lived in Canada, and obviously I'm a Brit, but I lived in Canada for 11 years. And there's much more of a culture of you go into a shop and people will greet you. The store clerk will greet you and they'll say, "Hi, how are you?" And when I first moved there, I was like, "Do I know you? Like, why are you speaking to me?" And I found it quite exhausting to be actually having to lie every moment. I mean, I wasn't always not fine, but like it was just, it felt very false to me to be having to say, "I'm fine, everything's fine." Um, or even pretending that I gave a crap about a stranger. Do you know what I mean? Like it was very transactional. And I catch myself when I do it now, actually. I do my best not to say I'm fine if I'm not fine. Um,
Hmm.
because it is that, again, it's that creating a reality thing. And that's, there's a weird discord, I think, or almost like a somatic thing that happens when your body's like, but you're not fine. Why are you lying? This doesn't feel good.
Well, and that's it because if it feels as if you're lying, that triggers all kinds of other buttons and like I'm not free to be me and I'm not free to speak my truth and it kind of keeps going from there. And so I think it can be simpler than that. But it is true that we don't necessarily show our authentic selves on a regular basis, especially to people who aren't in our inner circle, and maybe even then.
hmm hmm So we're about almost 10 minutes away from the top of the hour, or a little less. Just want to remind people if they want to ask a question, drop it in the chat. And if you don't, that's fine. Um, I'm wondering if I feel like we've talked about this already. Well, let's ask this question. Let's the that feeling that we opened with, is this all there really is? Ugh, feeling that often comes up in midlife. What lessons can be learned from this feeling, um, that help you guide as an individual or your clients?
Well, I think it's the perfect feeling because it's showing you that you have a preference and that preference is not what you're experiencing. So you know that you're ready to ask new questions, and those new questions are going to guide you to whatever that next best step is, if you allow it to be. Um, and so, is this really all there is? I do honestly this time say that mindset coaching is a great step for that because it helps you just organize your thoughts a little bit and your feelings and what those questions may be. And it might not give you answers because that's not the point, but for you to allow those answers to come through for yourself is often really illuminating because you think, oh, I mean, what you said isn't necessarily hard to understand, and I probably knew it, but I've never thought about it in that way, or I haven't thought about that for a really long time. That can be a really wonderful gift. And even if that's not for you for whatever reason, it giving yourself the opportunity to know, I want more and I'd like to learn what that is. But more doesn't have to mean different. It doesn't have to mean quit your job, leave your partner, abandon your children, sell the minivan and get the sports car type things that we think about for the midlife crisis, men or women. Um, but it is the opportunity to know, I'm ready to ask more questions and I want to make the space to do that. So did I put in the chat that coaching sessions give clients a space to hear themselves? And I agree with that. And you can do that on your own, but you're probably not doing it now. And so to give yourself 20 minutes, maybe wake up a bit earlier and do some journaling where you're asking questions. You can buy a journal that has questions. You can get ChatGPT to say, tell me 10 questions that I'm going to do one a day they're going to help me get more clarity about what I want. And those types of questions are very powerful. What do I want? Why do I think I'm not getting that right now? What do I imagine? What story am I telling myself about why I can't have those? And then allowing yourself to know that that doesn't have to be true. Those are the types of things that we do, but most people don't do that on their own time. It's kind of like you go to the gym because if you make yourself go to the gym, you're probably going to do something with the equipment there. But when you're at home, you say, I can just do a home workout. I've got a yoga mat and I've some hand weights. I'll just do it at home. But you probably don't. That's the thing. And it is that difference. It's not that it's so hard that you can't do it on your own. It's that most people don't choose to do it that way, or they do it on their own and they kind of hit that point where they have maybe some new answers, but they're still not sure about what to do next. Well, of course, it makes sense to bring in someone who does have skills about guiding you to that next step.
And I think too, there's just that very simple benefit of having someone who has no agenda, right? Like has
Yeah.
no connection to your life, um, doesn't really know anything about you, and so you're getting a completely fresh perspective of the issues that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And that can be a real like jolt you out of your narrative, can't it? When someone says something and you're like, oh, you're a stranger and you just said everything that's been on repeat from other people, perhaps.
Which is part of where I get the joy from and the fun, because I do call myself an intuitive coach, and I do believe that my gift is to be very objective because I am not attached to any of the outcomes. Um, I withhold as many opinions as I possibly can, but I also know that it's all working out perfectly for you. So even though you might come in like, well, this happened and that happened, as a friend, I might say, oh, really? That happened? Like, that's terrible. But as your coach, I'm holding the space knowing that everything is unfolding absolutely perfectly at the rate that you're ready for it. And you're at the point now where new questions are going to land exactly right. And you're ready for those answers. So to be able to create that space, to hold it and hold that vision of so much perfection, and know that any judgment is just something you're making up. We love to judge ourselves. Oh, it's taking too long, and I was too afraid to take the action, or I should have done this differently. And my opinion is no, probably not. You're probably exactly where you're supposed to be. In fact, I know that to be true. So we can let go of any judgments and know that this is perfect. And now what? Now what's next? What feels best to look at now? Because you've put yourself in the perfect space for what you're ready for.
Mm.
It's just a different way of looking at it. But for me, it's very powerful.
Yeah, because it's expansive rather than ugh, contractive. I've done a thing or I've not done a thing and it's stopped me from doing something. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's taking the blame out of it, isn't it? Of that we put
Yeah.
on ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, amazing.
And I just want to say too, it's fun when you start to give yourself the space to notice how things are working out. You're really giving yourself the evidence. You're holding it up. We can tell you stories from 30 years ago about things that we thought went wrong, but we tend not to mark and celebrate when they go right. So that's another tool that I always recommend people do. And telling it as a fun story to someone or journaling about it so that you show yourself over and over again. I travel a lot. I live nomadically, and sometimes I'll feel as if I'm supposed to be booking a flight. Like, why don't I have that flight booked yet? It's going to get more expensive. There aren't going to be seats left. Whatever, 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 I'm telling myself. But then when I do book it, because I'm feeling now is the time to book it, not because I'm supposed to do it, but I'm just saying, no, no, it's just not quite yet, not quite yet. Okay, now I'm feeling like this is the perfect time to, and it's the wonderful flight. It's an amazing price, better than I could have expected. Or there have been multiple times that I have flown upgraded to the first class of the plane for cheaper than the economy seats that I've been looking at before. Like for me to say, okay, that's why that happened. Like I was right to wait. Nothing was going wrong. It's okay that I waited. And in fact, it's better than okay because this is what I have now. This is what was waiting for me. And I needed to line up with that. I
Mm.
have countless stories, and I always recommend people notice. Oh, it did work out because what often happens is they forget to notice. It's like, oh, that's fun, or oh, that's kind of a strange coincidence, or whatever it might be, and then they bypass it. So really celebrate, like hold on to that and say, "Oh, look at that. I didn't need to berate myself and get caught up in that I should have game or I didn't do that the way I was supposed to." No, you did, and it's working out perfectly for you. But you got to keep going and allow yourself to trust it more.
Mm. Yeah, it's that those magic moments, right? Where the more you go with that flow and intuition,
Yeah,
um, the more, as you say, it's almost the acknowledgement closes the loop and it makes it that thing. When you don't acknowledge it or you're spooked by it, but or whatever, it denies it and it almost denies it from happening again, I think. Um,
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think,
Because then you start to own it. It's like, of course it works out. Of course I should be waiting. Like, oh, I'm going to book it when I feel like booking it. And you're releasing all of those old conditional feelings so that I know that I'm going to show up everywhere at the right time. Before I used to be paralyzed by how I was going to be late all the time. And I often was, even though I worked so hard to be early. But I was just getting what I was thinking about. And now I release that pressure to be rushing because I know that I can stretch time to be whatever I need it to be, and I'm going to be there at the exact right time, and nothing is going wrong. It's all working out exactly how it's supposed to. That wasn't an overnight shift, but I love what it feels like now because, as you say, it does feel magical. Because, but I'm acknowledging that I am creating it for myself.
yeah, I think, and as you say, it's not overnight. I mean, maybe for some people, but it is really that the more you train your mind and catch, for me anyway, the internal narrative that is saying, oh, it's just coincidence or whatever,
That
or
was lucky. Boy, that was lucky. Was it lucky? Was it lucky? Or are you just a magnificent creator
Yeah,
and owning it. So
yeah. I think when you own it, it becomes a game. Then it becomes
yeah.
like for me, certainly now it's tourist season here in Wales. Getting a parking spot will be the ultimate challenge in town, right? And yet without failure, that parking spot is always there for me. And I'm always
Yeah.
like, yes, did it again. You know,
Yeah.
just making light and happy to celebrate it. Um, but it's taken some practice. But it's, interestingly, just from my experience, I can track now when my narrative starts to go to the negative. And I go, whoa, what's going on? Like maybe I'm a bit overloaded, maybe I've watched too much news, like it makes me stop very quickly and go, hang on a minute, because I have that tool of stepping back and catching that negative speak. Um, and whether it's the anxiety person or the depressed person, and actually stopping it and going, well, do I just need to go have a good cry? Or you know, um, feeling feeling it and stopping it before it becomes this big, thing that's rolling
Yeah.
down the hill.
Yeah. It's the best thing you can do for yourself is to learn these habits. And what you describe is exactly what my framework is about. It's like creating that space, get a bit at the distance, observe it. Oh, ask some questions like where is that coming from? Check in with yourself. Is there something, do I have some physical needs that need to be met? Hungry, thirsty, tired, need to sit down, need to move. Just doing that check-in, you can do it really quickly. And sometimes that's all that it is, but it gives you that chance to find that place of alignment, to kind of get back to your steady. And it might mean taking some things off of your plate or refocusing. But doing that actual stop, pause, breathe, check in, and allow yourself to make a different choice. And then just keep practicing that. It's astounding how it can just reset and get back in the groove.
Mm. Yeah. I feel like we could just continue talking about these little life hacks for another hour, but we don't have another hour. So I would love for you to share a bit more about your business. The thing you mentioned your membership earlier when we first chatted. Anything you want to draw attention to make people aware of?
Absolutely. I always welcome new people to come into my world. I used to call it my playground. Come and play at my playground. Um, Starting in September, I'll be resuming my coaching series. And so that's a monthly call, and we'll have September, October, November, December. All the topics are on my website. If anybody wants to sign up, you can do one, or I have a pass to attend all four. Um, the membership meets every Monday for 90 minutes, and it is such a magical group of people who are there supporting each other. And we basically talk about the main topics of life. And as we've talked about before, just holding that space of sharing wins and asking questions and knowing that it can be simple, but it feels better to do it with the tribe. So I love having those calls, and working one-to-one is, one of my great passions. And I always offer a free half-hour call to all new people. So it's a really easy way to get to know me a little bit more. And I have a new 2-week program, coaching program about to be released in September. So I'll put the wait list in the chat. If anybody wants to just be on that first means of knowing all the details, it's going to be a beta program. And so this is about 75% off the price that I will be launching it at, because I want to play and get people's feedback. And it's going to be a hybrid course with a little bit of group coaching and then a private session, but it's over a 2-week period. So I'm calling it the accelerator, and it's going to be learning the framework, getting some group support, having touch points with me, and then going and practicing it. And you can always come back for the touch ups, but not everybody needs 6 months. but they would like to just get some ideas and then go work on their own. So that's going to be that. I'm really excited. I love to create programs. I think that's the teacher in me coming out. And if anybody does want, I have just a PDF, a download that they can try, and it has 10 habits. Some of them we talked about, like the deep breath, checking in with yourself. It doesn't have to be hard or big, but these can make a really big difference in how you're feeling right now in this moment, which is to me the power, right? We don't care necessarily how we feel in 6 hours. We want to feel better now in the next 5 minutes. And then that reset is going to set us on the right track for the 6 hours from now.
Hmm. Hmm. And you work with people all over, don't you?
I
All over the
do,
world.
yes.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. And again, the power of the internet, it might always have us connected, but it allows us to be connected. And so within the membership, we have people from Wales and South Africa and Canada and the United States. And it's fun to be able to work with people and know that there are no barriers anymore, really, if we want to connect.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Sheila. It's been an absolute pleasure. I feel like we
Thank
should come
you.
back and do a round two for a deeper dive into the mind hacks that we've discovered on our journey.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I hope everyone will go check out Sheila's website and explore. I'm definitely going to explore that PDF because I reckon there'll be a few on there that I have not unlocked yet. Um, and yeah, our recording will be up on YouTube sometime next week. I'm already like I've already got part of my brain going, maybe I need to join that accelerator. From a few little things that I go, those little narratives that you have running, especially when I
Yeah,
get dizzy, that's when they all start to kick in for me. Uh,
absolutely.
so yeah, I hope what we've talked about today has given you all something to mull over and to think about. Um, so everyone on the call will receive an email from me with the YouTube link once it's up. Feel free to share it with whoever you think might find it useful. And I don't have my next speaker lined up yet because I'm a bit haphazard about these things and I let them flow. So if you have anyone you'd like to recommend for it or want to recommend yourself, just reach out to me at jezhawk.com. And thank you guys. Thanks so much for joining. I'll let you guys
Yes,
go.
thank you, Jenny. And thanks to everyone who was here live. It was great to have your energy and thanks for the questions in the chat. It's always fun to keep us on track.
Yeah, greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you guys. Take care.
So, bye-bye.